If you found this seashell while walking along the beach today, what would it mean to you? Let's start.
Human history was shaped by far more than wars, kings, and conquests. Since the dawn of humanity, people have searched for meaning in the skies, across the earth, and within the silent signs of nature. Sometimes they found it in a star, sometimes in a flowing river, and sometimes in a small stone resting in the palm of their hand. Every answer they discovered became the foundation of a new belief, a new order, and a new civilization. That is why, when we look back today, we see more than the ruins of forgotten cities. We witness humanity's endless search for meaning. Today, we journey back to where money first began, when seashells served as one of humanity's earliest forms of currency for centuries. To understand the story of seashell money, we must travel back thousands of years. Long before coins were minted and long before paper money existed, people traded through barter. But barter had one major flaw. A trade could only happen if both sides wanted exactly what the other had. Then, a simple gift from the ocean changed history. Small, smooth, and remarkably durable cowrie shells became a trusted medium of exchange. They were easy to carry, difficult to counterfeit, and rare enough to be valuable. One of the earliest civilizations to use cowrie shells as money was ancient China. Their importance was so great that the Chinese character for money was inspired by the shape of a cowrie shell, and even today, it appears in many Chinese characters related to wealth and commerce. As trade routes expanded across the Indian Ocean, cowrie shells traveled far beyond their natural shores. They spread to India, Southeast Asia, and eventually across Africa. In West Africa, cowrie shells became the backbone of entire economies for centuries. They were used to buy food, livestock, land, and cloth, to pay taxes, and to conduct trade between powerful kingdoms. Millions of shells filled royal treasuries, while merchants carried them across deserts and rivers as a trusted currency. But no currency keeps its value forever. At first, cowrie shells were scarce, and that scarcity gave them value. However, as maritime trade expanded, enormous quantities of shells were collected, especially from the Maldives, and shipped to markets across Asia and Africa. In West Africa, cowrie shells became the backbone of entire economies for centuries. They were used to buy food, livestock, land, and cloth, to pay taxes, and conduct trade between powerful kingdoms. Millions of shells filled royal treasuries, while merchants carried them across deserts and rivers as a trusted currency. But no currency keeps its value forever. At first, cowrie shells were scarce, and that scarcity gave them value. However, as maritime trade expanded, enormous quantities of shells were collected, especially from the Maldives, and shipped to markets across Asia and Africa. The more shells entered circulation, the less valuable each one became. Items that once cost only a few shells now require hundreds or even thousands. Large transactions demanded entire sacks of cowries. Without realizing it, humanity had discovered one of the most important principles in economic history: inflation. When the supply of money grows faster than its value, purchasing power declines. As people also realized that seashells could be found along many coastlines around the world, their sense of rarity began to disappear. The trust that had once supported their value slowly faded. Eventually, civilizations turned to metals such as gold and silver, currencies that were easier to standardize, easier to control, and better suited for growing economies. The age of seashell money had come to an end. The tiny shells that had once connected continents, filled royal treasuries, and powered international trade were now nothing more than ordinary objects. They had become worthless. The story of money that began with seashells ended with inflation.
And that's the story. I'll see you in the land of the Lydians.